Yeah, they're just looking at some of the mechanics walking around, looking at how much tire wear some of these cars are like which tire condition that these cars are starting on. And yeah, some last-minute pointers to the drivers as well. I usually like a quick checklist of things to go through, you know, what settings to have on the wheel, what to focus on at the beginning of the race. And yeah, we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of action here in turn one. As we saw yesterday, you know, that inside of the right side of the start and there in turn one, very, very dusty and treacherous.
Yeah, it's really interesting listening to James Barclay talking about the dirty side of the track and the impact that has, especially with these new Hankook tyres as well. You know, it's only race 3. We still don't know their capabilities to the full extent of what conditions and how they can perform in varying conditions. So it'll be really interesting to find out a little bit later on. Anyway, we will have the race very, very soon here, the second race from Diriyah. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be quite exceptional. Stay with us. We've got the national anthem coming up live from Diriyah, Saudi Arabia.
Well, I have to say, an awful lot of the action might come from P6 and P5. We're currently looking at P6, Jake Dennis, because Karun, 24 hours ago, this man did the unthinkable, P11 to P2, off the charts, his performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the drivers, you could see, they're all coming back here towards their cars. They've been up to the front to meet their dignitaries. But it's all calm here down at the Andretti starting place on the grid, the mechanics. It's always good something. They're just standing with their arms on their hips because it means they haven't got any problems
That's confidence
to fix.
right there.
Yeah, the systems guys will be getting the cars all set and prepped for the start. But they had a brilliant race. I mean, getting these tyres to work for the duration of the race in these cold temperatures is important. But what's underneath this, in terms of the efficiency of the battery, that is the key to their success.
One big question mark at the moment, and what they seem to be getting is an awful lot of grip in the corners. What would you imagine they're doing that's so good and so different in layman's terms, Karun?
I think, you know, there's so many things you could change on the cars in terms of setup as we walk up towards the Porsche, Pascal Wehrlein. Now, these two teams, they work very closely together. Fundamentally, it's the same car, and they work as sort of sister teams. You can see here this tall gentleman kneeling down. That's Kyle
Less calm, it has to be said, by the way.
Yeah, well, Kyle Wilson-Clark, he's the race engineer for Pascal Wehrlein here. Now, he will be talking to the mechanics, just giving them the final instructions, what tire pressures to set in the car in terms of, and also just in terms of the settings for the start of the race, making sure that everything's in the right position. Now, look, they've obviously decided they need a bit more air in that front left tire. So they've got a little canister there. They've got to pump it up. And this is all about getting the performance right from the start of the race.
One question for you, Karun. So in front of these guys now, P1 to 4, we've got Hughes, Evans, Rast and Buemi. Who's going to be the hardest guy to get in front of? Because for me, when I see Evans, I think that's a man who's going to fight like a banshee.
I think that's a good shout. You know, we saw yesterday that the McLarens didn't have the efficiency, and we know that they're using the same powertrain as Nissan, who haven't had a great time either. Whereas Buemi and Evans with the Jaguar powertrain have been pretty efficient. So I think you're right. I think they could pose potentially a bigger threat. But listen, Jake Hughes, he's only in his 3rd Formula E race. So he would have learned an awful lot of what he did wrong perhaps yesterday. Not wrong, but, you know, things that he could do better, should we say, for today in terms of driving efficiently. So I think, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating race.
So putting it very, very simply, in terms of yes or no, could we see a repeat of what we saw 24 hours ago?
I think so. For me, I would say Dennis is the one to watch today.
You've gone Dennis, and just for fairness, I'm going to go for this man here, Pascal Wehrlein. Either way, it's going to be something special, and it's absolutely not to be missed. What an incredible race we've got in store here in Saudi.
Indeed, thanks, Radzi. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to say, joining me at the top of the grid is, you're the man at the moment, a man of the season at the moment, Jake Hughes from Neon McLaren. Jake, did you think this moment would ever come? Because you obviously did 2 seasons as a reserve driver with Mercedes, moved across to McLaren. This is your rookie season, and now you're on pole position.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had pretty good belief in myself, to be honest, that I would eventually get to, you know, World Championship and Formula E. It was been my goal for 3 or 4 years now, and, you know, position myself as, first of all, simulator driver with previously Mercedes, then the reserve driver for 2 years. So it was always in preparation for hopefully the day would come that I would get a race seat. So it's a credit to the team, you know, that now I'm here as a rookie and I can perform straight away.
It It was brilliant to see, because obviously yesterday you went up against Sebastian Buemi in that battle for pole position. And, you know, Sebastian Buemi, he's a champion. He's a season 2 champ. He's also had the most pole positions in Formula E. So, in a way, it was sort of the maturity and experience got the better. But today, you really showed him.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think we put the car a little bit in a better window for the duels today. Yesterday, we were pretty quick in the groups, and when we went to full power, we struggled a little bit. And we were pretty much, you know, on target every lap we did. So again, credit to the team, but yeah, it was quite nice to get one over on Seb after yesterday.
Just quickly, can you hold this position?
Big question. We'll try. We'll do our best. I mean, as you saw yesterday, some cars look quite efficient, and but our job is to do the best job we can do. I think we learned some really good lessons from yesterday. So hopefully we, with all of that combined, we can have a better result.
Well, enjoy the moment. Have a great race, and we'll see you at the end. Over to you, Vernon.
All right, thank you, Nikki. I'm with Winnie Harlow. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Lovely to see you on the grid. It's always nice when we get introduced to our very special guests. Formula E is all about sustainability. It's all about saving the planet in the way that we race. But you have got your own skincare range.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to AHGP for another Formula E watch-along. And today we've got race 2 in Diriyah. So after last night, it was, well, last night was one heck of a race, wasn't it? We had Pascal Wehrlein winning from 9th on the grid. We had Jake Dennis come from 11th on the grid to finish 2nd. Sam Bird was back in form. Sebastian Buemi drove really well. It was a bit of a disappointing race for Jake Hughes and for Dan Tickton, considering they qualified really well to be 2nd and 4th on the grid, I think. Dan Tickton was. And yeah, it was a really exciting race. It literally went down to the final corner. I don't know if we'll get that far today, but we've got an exciting grid ready to go. So we've got Jake Hughes on pole position. Let me just get the grid up here on my phone, and we'll have a look at some of the people to watch out for. Of course, we've got to watch out for anyone with a Porsche powertrain, because they just seem absolutely on fire. Now, Dennis and Werhlein, who have won the opening 2 races, start 5th and 6th on the grid today. And there is a poll, so if you want to vote for your winner, go into the chat and pick your winner. So it's hard not to go with Dennis or Werhlein, but Hughes, of course, on pole position, a brilliant job from him. He's now started 3rd, 2nd and 1st in the opening 3 races. And for a rookie, that is some effort. And McLaren, I know that, of course, they were the Mercedes team that won the previous 2 championships. But obviously, when there's a change of ownership, that can change. That can be a change in structure and in processes and things like that. 2 new drivers as well. So they're doing an excellent job there. Mitch Evans back on form for Jaguar, 2nd on the grid, beaten in the final in qualifying by a 1/10 of a second. There have been 2 really close finals in qualifying. We had yesterday's decided by about 600ths of a second, and today's separated by a 1/10. Buemi's up there again in 4th. So a lot of drivers who went well yesterday went well today in qualifying. Werhlein, Dennis, 5th and 6th. Mortara's up in 7th. Van Dorn finally getting his season with some sort of momentum. Starts in 8th. So I'm just going to get the TV feed, or the YouTube feed up on my screen so I can see what's going on. Who else have we got to look out for? Sam Bird is down in 9th. Max Gunther, 10th place for him, having crashed yesterday. Let's scroll down to the bottom. Andre Lotterer is in 18th, but he's worth a mention because he's got a Porsche powertrain, as does the other Porsche, which is Antonio Felix da Costa in 17th place. So watch out for those 2 coming through the field as well. If you are new here, say hello, subscribe, and make sure you like the stream. Hello to HIV. Porsche hit the new generation like Ferrari in F1. Yeah, they have absolutely got off to a flyer. They were speculating in qualifying that there's a bit of a braking instability with the Porsche power unit, which hurts them over one lap. And they've obviously been fine-tuning this over over the weekend. But that's what they put it down to in terms of the lack of qualifying pace. But the race runs, it's more about energy management and regeneration. So it doesn't hurt them so much. They're able to actually harness their energy really well, which is why we see the Porsche powered cars regularly with 1 or 2% more energy. And that's a huge amount in this game. So keep an eye on their energy use and see what they come up with as the race goes on. But all the other teams will be looking at that and working out how to manage their energy a bit more effectively. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very interesting how McLaren run their race, because Hughes was ahead to start with yesterday and he ended up finishing behind René Rast. And the way they used the attack modes was definitely a little bit different. So we'll see. Let's wait and see. We haven't got off the line yet. We've got the drone light show again, which is going on. That was pretty cool yesterday. Got a big sort of sun orb thing going on at the moment.
Yeah, Nicky, I mentioned it earlier on. The drone show, by the way, is amazing. Matt, can you just have a quick look at that?
Energy drink of choice. Other energy drinks are available.
All working perfectly well together. I'll be honest with you, when I fly my drone, it's into the trees. But safely, of course.
Let's see, can we get live timings up yet?
There's a lot of stories. Let's talk about the DS team, the Penske DS team, because they've not really done what we would have expected from Jeff
we'll get that up.
Stoffel Van Dorn.
On the other screen, well, in another window at least.
You know, the start of the season saying the DS Penske boys.
So let's switch scenes to.
They've only got 7 points between them so far this season. The likes of Avalanche Andretti have got 53. This is the time when they really need to start turning things around. I think there were a lot of questions, although Stoffel did say that they have made some progress since FP3 this morning, so this could be the turnaround time.
Yeah, I think the Penske team have struggled to learn the time that your friends at
hopefully that's going to pop up correctly.
But yeah, maybe they learned something today.
Try that again,
my
actually.
mate Manfred is well up for it today.
Let's get that set up.
Here we go. The drones are up.
Correctly.
The rovers are down. We are ready to race. Enjoy. Race 2 from Diriyah.
One of the most spectacular races of the season is about to get underway.
There we go. Just a few teething problems of, streamer life. Let's nope, that doesn't seem to be there. So you know what we'll do? Very shortly we'll end the poll. Let's get some let's get some live timings ready to roll on the screen.
E-Prix and the spectacular drone show in the sky with the Formula E steering wheel rotating high above us here in Diriyah.
Down there we go. Who's your favourite for victory?
As the drivers get ready.
No, let's not move that. Let's move.
To begin this 39-lap race.
Right. Okay.
A really spectacular event. John Legend playing later on today on the stage. Oliver Askew.
There we go.
Very disappointed that we didn't let him stay for the concert last night.
So Jake Hughes and a vote for Jake Hughes and a vote for Jake Dennis or Pascal Werhlein.
Because it's going to be a really, really
in the poll.
Fascinating E-Prix with a championship battle on the line, really, after only 2 races of the season.
Okay. Don't think we are far away from a race start.
The sun has set here in Diriyah.
Got the light show still going. I think it's the same one as yesterday, to be honest.
Feels like the perfect night for some electric street racing. This is the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship, and the 3rd round of the season is about to get underway. The spectacular drone show and fireworks display welcoming us to the 3rd round of the season. This, the 2023 core Diriyah
the E-Prix fireworks are going off. Actual fireworks, but we're looking for some fireworks on the track. It's going to be, I'd hope, a really fun race, because yesterday was pretty wild in the first 20 odd laps. We had the bit of clashing at the beginning of the race. Antonio Felix da Costa losing his front wing. He'll be looking to get through the first corners unscathed. There's several drivers who need to get their season up and running. Both DS Penske drivers, Verne and Van Dorn, da Costa, Mahindra driver, well, Oliver Rowland needs to. Abt Cupra, they need to get their season up and running. They're on the back of the grid. Lucas Di Grassi down in 20th, having been on pole in Mexico. Nick Cassidy needs to get his season going. Only 15th for him alongside Jean-Eric Verne. The Neos have been impressive. Sete Camera and Dan Tickton 11th and 13th. That's poor for them considering the pace they've shown so far this weekend. Mortara needs to get some points on the board. He's had a tricky first two races. Then there's the two title leaders so far. Probably, well, it's never too early to be tipping people for the title. But it's too early to draw serious conclusions in terms of eliminating drivers, I'd suppose.
Can he convert that into a victory? The pole sitter has always led at the end of the first lap. As we get ready,
the headphones are going on.
The streets of Diriyah. Mitch Evans,
I hope you are ready for
8th and 10th in the first two races, so could
some
be in
big time action around Diriyah.
Points to put him maybe a little bit belated into championship contention, but last year he only had 1 point after 3 rounds and ended up getting into the title fight by the time the end of the season came along. But it is Jake Hughes who will start on pole position in the Neon McLaren. You can get involved, let us know your driver of the day and make your predictions. Scan the QR code on the top left to play the Formula E predictor, and that will send you to the Formula E app, and the cars now pull away off the line. Heading around this first half of the lap to line
Gate cars moving off the dummy grid, heading round to almost the entire lap, where they will then perform the start. It took an age yesterday for the smoke to clear. I think they need to be a little bit more smart about where they allow the drivers to do their tyre burnouts for tyre temperature, because the guys at the front are just sitting there. And I guess that maybe these cars don't need the cooling that maybe a Formula One car does. But just sitting there, it doesn't look particularly good. It looks like everyone's ready to go, but they're just sitting there waiting for smoke to clear, when perhaps they could have done the burnouts in a different place. And I suppose that is also down to the track layout. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Maybe they should be doing them here, a bit more tyre warm-up around this section of the track, so they don't have to sit there quite so much. But we'll wait and see what they do about it.
You don't get to do a full lap because the lap's so long.
I have actually been really enjoying Oliver Askew on commentary. He's been bringing that first-hand knowledge of recent running. I think he's actually driven one of the Gen 3 cars as well. So, I mean, I like Dario Franchitti. He's a legend of motorsport in terms of his IndyCar exploits, and he's very well respected, but he doesn't have any first-hand knowledge of how to drive one of these cars, especially in a race situation. So having a guy who was in the competition last year adds a little bit more weight to the things that he's saying. Alright, the front guys making their way onto the grid. We're going to get some of those burnouts now. Here we go.
The race yesterday, we see Jake Hughes starting on pole, a fantastic qualifying.
Jake Hughes lines up on pole position. First pole position of his Formula E career, and the rest of the field emerge from his tyre smoke.
On pole position in the Neon McLaren. Alongside him, Mitch Evans in the Jaguar TCS.
Oh, Boemi looked a very long way forward in his grid box there.
And the nature of the night.
This is worse than yesterday.
Yeah, it is. There's a real.
And the commentators are just acknowledging that the smoke is worse than yesterday. So we could be sitting here for several moments.
What I found really interesting, Jake Hughes, when the pit lane opened, first man out. He was the first man on the grid, lined up on pole position. Is that a little mental game he's playing with himself, or is that just what they always do?
I don't know. Normally you'd want to be on the grid, the last one, or there. You don't want to get there quickly because then there's more time for the tires to cool off while you're sitting there.
Some
so
live timing.
Here, I think the drivers realized from last night that the more heat that they can get through the tires, the better launch that they're going to get.
See them go down a wee
so we're going to be following Werhlein and Dennis a lot, 5th and 6th on the grid. Dennis leading the championship by 1 point over Pascal Werhlein.
Still Smoky City.
4th on the grid, so he could be in for a good afternoon to haul himself up into title
But we are ready.
There's also the fight for the race win, and that in the early stages at least will be Hughes versus Evans. Evans is on the dirty side of the grid. It'll be the right-hand side as we look at it now on board with Dennis, the left-hand side when we're looking at it from here, and see whether they get a good getaway on that left-hand side. It was even enough.
The lights have gone blank.
Here we go.
And we've got 5 red lights ready to race. The E-Prix go. Good start from Jake Hughes.
Reasonable start from Hughes. Evans is coming at him, and Evans is going to get him.
Evans is up the inside. He's taken the lead.
He can from the dirty side of the grid. Mitch Evans has taken the lead.
And there's a bottleneck through the middle. Oh, Hughes has. I don't know if he's blown it or if that was just a good start from Evans. We'll have to see the replay. But Mitch Evans has got himself into the lead. Werhlein's up to 4th. Dennis has actually dropped down to 7th.
So Dennis loses a couple of places. Werhlein gains 1.
But Mitch Evans is out in front.
The bobsleigh run for the first time.
What a start by Evans. No one was expecting that from the dirty side of the grid. So a great launch there. Getting ahead and as he starts to set the pace.
That's the first time ever that the leader or the pole sitter has lost the lead on the opening lap of the race.
Well, that is a turn up for the books, isn't it? Second place off the dirty Scott side of the grid, getting the jump on the pole sitter. They just said on the comms it's the first time P1 has lost the lead in Diriyah.
Good start from Eduardo Mortara. He started 7th on the grid and has gained 2 places. Here we go.
But Hughes is hanging in there.
Through the right and through the left, and then down towards turn 21. A little bit of competition further back, but everybody safely through. Now, this is the timing line here, so this is where the first
all 22 cars still running.
Across the line now.
That's positive.
Evans leads, Hughes second,
McLaren second and third there, with Jaguar leading, Porsche in 4th. Sandbird's up to 8th. Van Dorn lost a place at the start. Just looking down the order, see if there's anyone else who jumps out at me who's moved around. Lotter has lost a position as well. But I think this is going to be perhaps more of a slow burner compared to yesterday. Hughes and Rast separated by about half a second. Evans half a second off of Evans.
That's exactly the conversation I had on the grid with Kyle Wilson-Clark, who's Pascal Wehrlein's race engineer. I said, when did you know he was going to, you had a chance from the start? He was like, no, we never thought we could win. Then halfway through, the energy comes up and, oh, we're looking quite good. Right, here comes Jake Dennis, championship leader in this red and white Avalanche Andretti, and he is running 7th at the moment. Lost a place off the start, leads the championship by 1 point, ahead of Pascal Wehrlein, who's up in 4th. So, long race ahead of us, and it's Formula E.
It's all a bit follow the leader at the moment. No one really making too many moves. Let's have a replay of the start then.
Watch this. Well, there's so much to watch here. So
Hughes gets some.
The start was quite even.
Oh, it was fairly even. Evans just manages to hook it up in the second phase.
From the dirtier side, which doesn't make sense. Just had a better feel on the throttle as he feeds it in.
Very good start from Mitch Evans.
So much more torque.
And Hughes was sensible there. He squeezed him as much as possible, but he realised that it's a long race. And there's no point making contact into turn 1. And obviously Mitch Evans yesterday picked up a penalty for forcing, I can't remember who it was, off the track. Somebody off the track.
Dennis
Dennis just keeping himself out of trouble there.
Yeah, obviously much more grip there on the inside of turn 19.
I've got the live times up on the screen to my right over here, and they're a little bit ahead of actually what I'm seeing on the screen. So I am seeing who's got the fastest lap time before they come through.
3 of 39. Race leader is Mitch Evans. Second is Hughes. Third is Rast. Fourth is Pascal
Let's just see if I can...
in the Porsche. We go on board with him now as we come down the bobsleigh run.
Such a tight line through here. No margin for error. As you see, he's getting so close to the walls. And now you're just balancing the throttle through this section, controlling the pitch of the car. It's downhill, then a compression there in turn 10, now into turn 11.
Just make the chat on that screen a bit smaller. There we go. Okay, riding with Werhlein, chasing the McLarens.
Sometimes it's not a good thing to...
Based on yesterday, Werhlein's in a great position. He could win by several seconds at this rate. But it's going to be a completely different race. Van der Linde's taken attack mode already. He must be falling off at the back of the crocodile.
Here with that tow, the battery is Evans' radio.
Evans on the radio.
Just a series of fastest laps coming through as the guys tick through. You'll see it come up on the screen in a minute.
Coming into turn 21 through the right-hander.
There you go, Evans, then Hughes. And it's just, it goes all the way down to Dan Tickton. And Sete Camera's got it now.
As they come now through turn 5.
In fact, maybe someone else, I think it might have been Cassidy who's got it.
Evans' lead up at the front is half a second. Hughes and Rast second and third. That is the Neon McLaren team. So Mitch Evans was complaining about the pedals on the radio. So not sure what that's about.
Evans saying something about the pedals on the radio. Of course, you can listen to driver's radio exclusively on the app.
Not a thing the mechanics will change after the start of the season.
Maybe there's something in underneath the pedals, or an issue, some sort of issue for Mitch Evans at the front.
Early stages of the Diriyah E-Prix, the third round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship, and Evans is just sitting there in the lead at the moment, just happy to keep just ahead of Hughes and Rast.
They're all fairly closely matched on lap times.
Starts a little push towards the front if he can. I always find, here's Hughes' radio.
The front tyre's not working up yet.
Well, the pace is still okay. He's complaining about the front tires not working yet.
Here's Lotterer, a replay of Andre Lotterer diving down the inside. I think that is Roland. Nicely done by the German. We'll get another view of it. It's the textbook Diriyah overtake, isn't it? Into the chicane, turn 1. Get it sent down the inside. And cover off the turn.
I don't know much about cycling, but it kind of feels like that. It's always the early stages of who's going to brake, who's going to go for it, who's going to, well, quite literally expend their energy, and at what point, and who's happy just sitting in the train in the early stages. The driver who led the opening 6 laps yesterday, Sebastian Buemi, didn't even finish on the podium. So we have a long way to go. Here's Evans across the line.
Jack Nichols just raising the point that Buemi, who led the opening laps yesterday, didn't finish on the podium. It's going to be a big race of energy management. So let's have a look at the lap times as they come through. So front 3 all on 11.7s, 11.6s all the way back to... Oh, hang on, no, they've just changed. So 11.5s for the front 2, Rast slightly quicker, Werhlein, Mortara, Buemi 11.5, Rast, Werhlein and Mortara 11.4s, 11.4s for Gunther and Tickton. Sete Camera with a 12 flat. He's dropped right off the back of his teammate.
Energy is good, energy is good.
Sam Bird being told his energy is good.
This is Sam Bird, who's running in 8th place, right up behind Jake Dennis. As we come through the bottom of the hill at turn 14 and now towards turn 16.
It's just, I think it is just going to be a follow the leader and bide your time. It's all going to come down to the attack mode strategy, and then when you use that in combination with when you unleash your ultimate pace, and of course then if your ultimate pace is good enough. Oliver Rowland has taken attack mode. He's got a minute of it left.
he'd probably rather be leading. Phil Ingram on the radio to Bird there. So yeah, he was talking about the paddle rather than
Andre Lotterer taking attack mode. I think Da Costa's just got past Jean-Eric Verne, former teammates at the DS team.
Running in 5th spot, and they had a horrible day yesterday. Both cars crashed out and couldn't take part in the race. They scored no points in the opening race weekend in Mexico City, but running in 5th for Mortara and 10th for Gunther. So much better for them here in what we all believe is quite a quick car. But Werhlein's starting to look racy here in the Porsche, isn't he? In 4th spot in the black, white and red machine. He's over the back of Rast here.
Yeah, still no information.
It's quite a train, isn't it? All the way back to Sete Camera, really.
Don't know either. Although the teams know
it's the biggest gap
what the status of each,
in the top 12. As Dan Tickton's about to take attack mode.
Radio transmission between the two Jaguars was just based on.
I think both Neos have taken 2 minutes of attack mode. You'll see them dive off to the side here.
The teams won't know either.
There they go.
I think Hughes here is in the catbird seat. He's has his teammate behind him. Evans in front is setting the pace as we see a couple cars starting to take attack.
Yep.
We'll see.
So perhaps Neo are going to trigger something. There we go. Oliver Askew just saying it's going to be a chain reaction. Oh, Verne and Da Costa. No love lost at all between those two. And a bit more bumping front to rear. Da Costa sending it down the inside. And then there was a little bit of a bump, a love tap on the exit of the chicane as well.
Mitch Evans leading the way. Hughes in 2nd, Rast in 3rd, Werhlein in 4th in round 3 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Evans holding that lead at the moment for the Jaguar team.
Still the top 11, top 10,
Won the race
all running almost nose to tail.
On the grid. He's already up to 4th. And how soon does he try?
Evans pulling away a little bit.
Get ahead of René Rast as we climb the hill up towards the chicane. Not this time around.
And he's going for attack mode.
Opening couple of laps here.
And he feeds out just in front of Werhlein. Van Dorn as well takes the attack mode, and now McLaren are 1st and 2nd.
Now that's an interesting choice that from the lead, Jaguar have blinked first there. So this is a chance. I would suggest what Jaguar are doing. 3 minutes here.
3 minutes of attack mode for Mitch Evans.
So in those 3 minutes, I think they'll want to get back ahead of the two McLarens if they can.
It's an interesting one.
I'm surprised they blinked first.
Yeah. That's brave from Jaguar to go first with the attack mode.
Activate attack mode and then still come out in front. Here's a look at it. And it means Jake Hughes is back into the lead of the race. So he will lead his first lap here.
Jake Hughes leads the race then. He will cross the line in the lead for the first time in Formula E. Can Evans make the move on the first McLaren in his way, which is René Rast?
I think Hughes can do attack mode and get ahead of...
Is Hughes going to take attack mode? He is! And can he stay ahead of Evans? Oh, not quite! Not quite!
Just behind, and Werhlein is in the fight now as well, so didn't quite work out, but he's gone for 2 minutes here.
He's only gone for 2 minutes. Evans will have a minute of second attack mode left, so that could come in quite useful later on.
I'm confused by that. I think they should have waited a lap, got Rast to back Evans up and created a gap for Hughes. I'm surprised McLaren didn't just... They were in control, weren't they? 1-2, could have controlled the pace and just opened up enough of a gap. So, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised with that move.
Karim's saying he's surprised about that. I mean, I don't know how much point there is in team orders and potentially backing someone up. They'd have had to wait for Evans' attack mode to go away. And that's a risk in itself. You know, if Evans gets the run, then he'd have gone past anyway. And René Rast leads, and he goes for the attack mode. Is he going to come out in front of Evans? He has! So René Rast has leapt from 3rd to 1st in this sequence of events. Werhlein, though, and Mortara, and Buemi, and Dennis, and Bird, and Gunther haven't taken attack mode. So Mitch Evans has lost the lead as it stands, and now is out of attack mode.
Evans behind, 20 seconds remaining.
So that's Stephen Lane on the radio, effectively saying, "You're all right."
Going to be a long season for
Evans is
Mahindra.
gonna be out of attack mode in 3, 2,
Yes, it could
1,
be.
0. Evans out of attack mode. Rasta's got a minute 20 to go. Fascinating stuff.
It's a strange one with Mahindra. They've got. They say they've got more testing time allowed to work with the powertrain and everything. So perhaps there's improvement to come for Mahindra.
Still waiting on
We'll have to wait and see.
of each car's energy. So Rast opening a gap here.
And here comes Pascal Werhlein down the inside on Jake Hughes. And from pole position, the Englishman has worked his way back to 4th place. Rast is absolutely clearing off. And here we go, we've got the energy up on the screen. Werhlein is only at 70%. Dennis 70%, Bird 70%. Werhein's got 3% more than the leaders. This is... Werhlein is absolutely set to do the double here.
From Pascal Werhlein in the Porsche. This was his move. Neat and tidy.
Rast has got a 2-second advantage now on Mitch Evans.
Which can make you use a bit more energy because
he has the energy to open up that gap.
Yeah.
In order to take attack and not lose position.
Yeah.
So that's going to be music to Pascal Werhlein's ears once he gets that radio transmission. These guys smiling, is a little smirk on his face there.
Werhlein is in such a good position. He's now right on the back of Evans.
All cars around him. Dennis in 7th has some energy left.
They've left Hughes behind. Hughes' race pace doesn't seem to be quite as strong, whether that is the powertrain. Here comes Werhlein down the inside for 2nd position. Absolutely no answer from the Jaguar.
Having the same amount of energy and having a 2%.
But that energy advantage is just, in race trim, just proving to be absolutely devastating. Dennis isn't able to make too much headway at the moment.
Get it done, get it out of the way. He won't lose track position. And actually, he can use this opportunity, can't he? The difference you were talking about here, Oliver, I think, is that the Porsche, they've done an exceptional job of recovering under braking. They're not doing much coasting. When you watch it, look here. Evans is coasting from there. And Werhlein can just outbrake him, and they're recovering, putting energy back into the battery under braking much more efficiently than anybody else.
And that's a setting.
Yeah, Karun's raising a really good point that the Porsche seems to be recovering energy on the brakes much better than anything around it.
Energy, and the more torque, obviously, is stressing out those tires more, but it's putting more energy back into the battery. So an interesting point there.
Nick Cassidy has just reported on the radio that it is raining. So we'll wait and see that one.
Apparently there's rain in Saudi Arabia.
We've just sent Nicky Shields out into the pit lane to have a check, but that's what Cassidy's reporting on the radio.
Apparently we've got rain.
Take attack mode.
It can't be oil because I don't think there's oil in these things. Or too much oil at least.
In the black and white Jaguar, then it's Jake Hughes, then it's Eduardo Mortara. Lap 15 of 39. Down in towards the first corner they come. Mortara running in that 5th spot. This is René Rast's first time leading a Formula E race in his 25th start. We're on board with Mortara now in 5th.
1.7, 1.6 now.
Werhlein closing the gap now to 1.5 seconds on René Rast. Pulling away from Mitch Evans.
Down the hill to turn 14. Mortara running quite nicely at the moment in that 5th place. Haven't seen much progress from Jake Dennis. Well, like I say, we sent Nicky outside. Nicky, is Nick Cassidy lying?
I can assure you, the pit lane is as dry as a bone. There is absolutely no rain here whatsoever. So perhaps there's a different climate going on in another part.
Werhlein has now taken the attack mode. Apparently there's no rain in the pit lane. So, not sure what's going on. Come on, Dennis, where's your magic yesterday? But Dennis has still got attack mode to take. He's got a lot of energy. I can see a big attack coming in the second half of the race from Jake Dennis. Let's see how well that ages.
So Rast leading, Werhlein second. Interestingly, the other Porsche of Antonio Felix da Costa is being told he's over-consuming. He's down in 14th position, so difficult day for da Costa.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to not see Dennis make any immediate ground once that energy showed up on the broadcast here. He's still in 7th position. He can almost see the podium in front of him, these cars in front running nose to tail.
Karun?
I think the train is built up behind Evans.
Repeat now. He's almost flat into 18.
So he's almost flat into 18. So the cars in front of Dennis deploying energy into the only passing zone on the circuit.
Werhlein has already caught the back of René Rast.
And Werhlein, with a minute and a half of attack mode left, is on the back of René Rast.
It was his 50th Formula E race yesterday, his 51st.
He's just 1.3 seconds faster the last time around.
Werhein's led 10 laps this season.
That's undefensible.
When you're behind Rast, you can think about mode 2, says Kyle Wilson-Clark, and he is very much behind Rast. Whether that's save a bit more energy while you're behind him,
Not
or
quite halfway through this race yet.
Now, you're in attack
Verline's about to take the lead,
no
it would
time
seem.
To make that move.
Just under a minute of attack mode left for the German.
It's probably a mode change to deploy a bit more energy on this part of the circuit.
Has he got a chance on the brakes? No, he's not close enough.
Next lap.
Onto the brakes, not
And
quite
Rast is taking attack mode.
very much caught the back hit. Oh, Rast goes through attack mode.
So Werhlein does take the lead, but because Rast has taken attack mode, so we'll wait and see how this is going to pan out. Werhein's got a minute of attack mode to take once this batch finishes.
Who's just activated his attack mode. So he'll try and close back in on Pascal Werhlein, but he's now being told on the radio, Pascal Werhlein, to be efficient now that he's in the lead of the race, Oliver Askew.
Yeah, I hate to say it now, but I think this race is all about second position. I expect Pascal, with the pace and efficiency that car has, to just set sail into the distance. I don't want to say into the sunset because it's already set.
Oliver Askew putting a real downer on things. He says that Werhein's about to sail off into the night, which would be his third Formula E win.
Here's a look at Werhlein activating his, René Rast activating his attack mode, and Werhlein going through. So Werhlein leading, Rast in second, bit of a gap back to Evans, who's still running in third. Fourth is the other McLaren of Hughes. Fifth is Mortara. Sixth is Buemi. Everybody else just playing the chess game at the moment. Buemi activates his attack mode, so that allows, he drops 2 places. So Dennis is now up into 6th, and that is Buemi's first attack mode. Yes, it is. Mortara, Dennis, and Bird, 5th, 6th, and 7th. The cars in front of Buemi here.
So let's have a look at the other Porsche-powered cars that aren't Verline. Dennis is still in 6th.
A little surprised
and he's been promoted because Buemi's taken attack mode. Da Costa is up to 13th from 17th on the grid. Lotterer is now in 15th.
I think Dennis is sitting tight like he did yesterday. If you look at what happened yesterday, the first half of the race, he didn't really do much. And then in the second half, he didn't do any coasting or any energy saving. And I think sitting in this train behind the likes of Mortara and Evans here, I'd be interested to see when the energy numbers come up,
Karun on the commentary saying Dennis is sitting tight. I have to say I agree with him, because he's not gone for attack mode yet. He's biding his time. He's got the most efficient powertrain in the field. He's got the powertrain that's leading the race. He's going for 5th place here, down the inside of Mortara, who closes the door. Very nearly contact.
Use this, what was that, the message to Dennis? To use attack and use the... Don't quite understand that one.
Oh, he's clocked the curb there as Jake Dennis bouncing around. Has he damaged the car? No, it's just showing his nose to the inside. Lotterer setting the fastest lap.
Yeah, like you said, Karun, I completely agree. We expect him to have a bit more energy than the cars in front, but he's just not able to.
It's one of the slow-mos of Pascal Werhlein
close the gap to Pascal,
in the lead of the race.
See a slow motion, beautiful shot here of the Porsche in the lead. Leaving turn 15, 16.
Werhlein leading the race. Rast in second. Evans in third, Hughes in fourth, Mortara fifth. Now is Dennis going to go for it again this time around? He's a little further back as they come into 16 than he was previously. As you say, it was a little half-hearted from Dennis that last time through. He's right underneath the rear of
Here goes Werhlein for his attack mode. Final minute of attack mode, and he's survived it in the lead. So he's in an incredibly strong position here. Perhaps the only person who can stop him is Jake Dennis. What do you think? Is Jake Dennis the only driver who can catch Pascal Werhlein in the remaining 18 laps?
Trying to chase Jake Dennis.
I love this shot here. It really shows how close these cars are to the apex walls. Blind corners here in Sector 1.
Now, if Porsche come away with 3 wins in the opening 3 races with 2 different teams, then the other teams have got a huge amount of work to do in terms of their raceability of these powertrains, because they just can't harvest enough energy. Although I think it was the Jag team boss, James Barkley, saying that they're locked in. Here comes Jake Dennis. This time he's alongside Mortara. He'll get to the inside and take 5th place.
Jake Dennis goes through.
Beautiful move.
Sam Bird here, looking on the left, he's got 49%. Evans and Hughes have got
Sam Bird has got 49%. Bird, he's gone through as well. Perhaps Sam Bird is a dark horse for this race.
On the dirty stuff, but he managed to turn it in, and that is the first move.
Look elsewhere. Everybody else all around the mid-40s. Bird at 48%, Dennis 47%, Werhlein 46%.
This is it. This is the message. Let's go.
Here comes Jake Dennis. This is his moment.
That message was from before he overtook Eduardo Mortara.
Yeah, Jake Dennis. Lightning.
Sean McGill is getting a bit punchy on the radio now.
It's now or never. He has the same energy as Pascal, similar to yesterday, and about a 2% advantage over the cars in front of him. So it's time. Yeah, it looks like here that he has a 3.1 second gap to the leader. That's going to be hard to close with the same amount of energy, but second place is definitely the target for the Avalanche Andretti man.
Also, you never know with a late safety.
So Rast is a little bit clear of, as Jake Hughes takes his attack mode. And is he going to come out ahead of Sam Bird? They're side by side. And the McLaren driver holds the position. I don't think Bird, has taken some attack mode. It doesn't show us how much he's got left at the moment. And that promotes Dennis up to 4th. And if he can build some sort of gap, he will be able to take that attack mode. Here's a replay of the move on Eduardo Mortara. Absolutely textbook. Gets there a little bit squirrely under braking, but job done. Nice move. I like that.
And that was Dennis going ahead of Hughes after Hughes activated his attack mode.
Werhlein a couple of tenths a lap quicker than Rast out front. Evans able to match Werhlein really on an 11.1. Although Verlein's probably just managing things. Rast's pace is pretty good.
Only 3 tenths from the back of Evans. For third place, is this going to be
Here's Jake Dennis on the back of Mitch Evans, and look at the closing speed. It's all on the brakes. Evans having to coast, and Dennis just flies by.
René Rast is all that stands between he and his title rival, Pascal Werhlein, and Dennis has got more energy.
And Dennis has got 3% more energy than René Rast. He's got 1% more than Werhlein, and he's got all of his attack mode left to take. Jake Dennis is in a fantastic position to win this race.
On Jake Hughes.
Here's Jake Radio.
3% more than Rast. 3% more than Rast. P3.
Jake's not sure what position he's in.
Yeah, and has 1%.
Dennis doesn't know what position he's in. Sam Bird has still got 4 minutes of attack mode to take as well. So he could be... Are we going to have the same podium as yesterday? Porsche OP, absolutely. Someone file a steward's inquiry. What is going on here?
And find the space to take attack mode and not lose track position. I think here, this could be it. I think if I was Jake Dennis, I would try attack mode
No. Oh, I wish I was Jake Dennis sometimes. Here we go, up into the chicane. Dennis to the inside, and he's through. Dennis up into second place.
Dennis easily through as Sam Bird comes through as well. McLaren's dropping back now. We've got Werhlein and Dennis first and second. Sam Bird is coming through.
Bird is fifth. Hughes, Mortara, Buemi, Gunter, and Van Dorn the top 10.
It's almost a replay of the race last night.
Yeah.
You see Jake coming on strong late into the race.
The gap at the front is 1.9 seconds, but
2 seconds ahead.
Dennis has got to build a gap so that he can take his attack mode.
He's 2 seconds ahead. That's not... Oh... He's not being told the gap behind. He's being told the gap ahead, and that is... means let's go for the win.
Yeah, the psychology of the radio message. Only being told the gap ahead. He's catching. It's 1.8.
So he'll lose time going into that timing loop. Sector 1 goes purple.
Fastest first.
I told you this would be a slow burner, and we had to wait a little bit, but it's got going.
No copy, consider strike.
1.6 now the gap.
So consider strike a new code word for these guys
Have
this
they changed
weekend.
all the code words
Yeah, every
since he left?
weekend he's going to go into attack.
Dennis is going to go for attack mode here.
And there he goes.
There he goes. 1 minute of attack mode
So attack
for
mode
Jake
for
Dennis. He
And,
retains
Bird's
second
got ahead of
place.
Evans. So the two Jaguars
Bird
are
is
on
now up into
places.
fourth.
Now, Dennis
And
is
he's still got
leading.
4 minutes of attack
Take
mode to
1
go.
minute of attack mode, so he'll have 3. That's aggressive. That is, get this one out the way, close in on Werhlein, and then have 3 minutes to attack.
Maserati survived.
The two Jaguars in 4th and 5th here, the black and white machine. Bird getting ahead of him.
Yeah, it's just...
He's got more energy at the moment, and Bird
This
can
could
see
be
a podium ahead of him. Maybe 2 podiums in 2 days. We could have the same podium for 2
It's
races
the younger
in a
drivers
row,
in the Porsche
despite them
powertrain really
starting
making it
in
work. Yeah.
positions. Karoon.
Although I wouldn't say Da Costa is an old man. But it's interesting that it's Werhlein who's part of the team before, rather than Da Costa, who's a champion coming into the team, who's making it work. So there's clearly some sort of settling in process for the Portuguese driver. And Jake Dennis, well, we've seen how good he can be. And if the Porsche powertrain is this potent at every race, then here comes Sam Bird up into 3rd, and we've got the same podium as yesterday. This is incredible. I wonder if there's ever been a double header at a Formula E event with the same top 3.
What is going to unfold over the remainder of this race?
Nice work, mate. Pull a gap, use energy, use energy.
We've got a yellow flag.
Oh, a yellow turn.
Nico Müller seems to have...
Just a local at the moment.
It's Müller. Yeah, he's stopped at the chicane. Has he gone for a move?
Into the chicane. Here's a look at the onboard. Through he goes.
Has he got going? No, he's still there.
So Bird
Safety
has
car.
still got no attack modes remaining.
We have a safety car, and that's huge. Huge for Dennis.
Coming to 3rd place. And that's Nico Müller in the wall.
He's properly in the wall, isn't he? Look at
What
that.
Jake Dennis wanted to see. Not for Nico Müller specifically, but a
Is he the
safety
right?
car deployment.
Is he the right way up?
Here's Müller.
Exactly like Lucas, man. Exactly the same. It's incredible.
He's not happy.
Müller really frustrated, saying exactly the same as Lucas. That's exactly where Degrassi, who also has a Mahindra powertrain, went into the wall in free practice this morning, Oliver.
Just struggling on deceleration into that corner. Very similar to Lucas.
Okay, so we can take stock of what's happening. The long and short of it is Porsche are dominant, and Sam Bird is very good in Diriyah. Behind that, we've got René Rast, Mitch Evans, Jake Hughes, and then Mortara, Buemi, Gunther, and Van Dorn is up into 10th now, just sneaking his way into the points.
Look at that, 0.1%. The difference between Werhlein and Dennis.
Werhlein and Dennis matching on energy. Bird has more energy than the pair of them.
Than the 2 leaders, and now they're all going to be
Sam
right
Bird
together.
could win
Bird's
this
got
race.
2 attack modes to use. Dennis has 1 attack mode to use.
And he's got 2 attack modes.
10 or 11 laps we're going to be in for. Remarkable stuff.
This final 10 laps is going to get nuts, isn't it? Because Bird's going to get his skates on. Dennis is going to want to take 3 minutes of attack mode.
4 minutes.
How long they stay behind safety car is going to add on extra laps. Going to get a replay now of Nico Müller. Oh, late on the brakes, straight on. Oh dear.
He was going for the overtake. So
was that the braking issue, do you think? Because they've had issues with the front brakes.
But as we know, these cars now have a bit more advanced braking system than previous generations.
So our first retirement of the race.
So we're on lap 28 of 39. There is Nico Müller out of the E-Prix, and tough weekend for.
So while we've got this lull in proceedings, leave a like if you're enjoying the stream. Comment very quickly who you think is going to win the race. Also subscribe if you're new here. And as you can see underneath me, you can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. And also check out the latest videos, which are going underneath right now as I speak. So you can start with the McLaren A Good Season Is episode.
I still think the race for the win is between the two cars in first and second.
Oliver Askew saying that the race for the victory is between Werhlein and Dennis, and Bird not quite so much included in that.
Pumping at the moment. He knows he has to make that decisive move over Pascal, and he's not going to give it up easily.
Now you can't activate attack mode behind the safety car, so you've got to wait till it comes in. Dennis has made 5 overtakes. Bird has made 4, Da Costa 4, Gunter 3. Obviously Werhlein's made some as well. 11 laps to go. Unless Werhlein's maybe just gained most of his places through other people going through attack mode, and then he pulls away potentially. Lap 29 of 39. Van der Linde running at the back, making his Formula E debut this weekend.
You hear the screeching of the front tires of these cars going through Sector 1. Super important to continue to keep heat in those tires through this safety car period. See a cool evening here.
So they're moving the car of Nico Müller away. So I think we might be in this lap and restart on lap 30. The FIA safety car.
Flashes coming around here. We're behind the safety car in Diriyah, but not for much longer, because the
Nothing
car
come
of
up
Nico Müller has been
on
cleared.
race control.
The field is backed up, so maybe one more lap.
Looks like another lap behind the safety car. So the first racing lap completed after the safety car will be lap 31.
So that graphic is overtakes, not positions gained. So Dennis made all those overtakes. Werhlein, I think the start doesn't necessarily count, and then neither does a car going through attack mode. So Jake Dennis has done a lot of proper overtakes here. Safety car staying out. By the looks of things, haven't quite got rid of the Nico.
And this is kind of the battle we haven't had yet. Obviously Werhlein and Dennis have been the fastest 2 drivers so far this season in the first 2 races. They've won the pair of them and finished first and second. Dennis ahead by virtue of the bonus point for fastest lap, whether you like it or loathe it. But we haven't actually seen. We saw them close at the end of the race yesterday, but we haven't seen like a proper battle. I think we. Okay, Werhlein is kind of fighting with an arm by his side. I wouldn't say it's behind his back because he's had good pace. But Dennis has got 3 minutes of attack mode, and so has Sam Bird. And don't discount Rene Rast because he's been quick as well. Rast, Bird and Werhlein have all got pretty similar best lap times, but Dennis with a 1:9.9 is the driver with the most pace.
Well, thank you very much. I'm currently stood outside Apta Cupra's garage, and I have to be said, it's fairly somber scenes here. Speaking to the guys in the garage, there doesn't seem to be a technical or hardware issue that resulted in Nico Muller's accident. However,
we've got
simply a locking
a
of the
bit of
rear
wheel
tyres.
banging.
The guys here aren't worried about anything moving forward.
With Vern.
It's simply a mistake in the
going on
overtaking
there?
in turn 18 that cost Nico
Didn't
Muller
see who
very
that
dear.
was.
It has to be said, as he walked past me here, he was not interested in talking. He was interested in getting to the back and kind of gathering his thoughts.
Safety car in.
Safety car is in. The green flag is out. Here we go. Dennis in pursuit of Werhlein. Sam Bird on the case. Bird is actually closer to Dennis than Dennis is to Werhlein. Werlein's made an excellent restart.
31 of 39. And look how close Bird is.
Bird is absolutely going for it. Remember, he's got a little bit of extra energy at the moment. This is his moment to use it. See if he can get through.
But he is back with a bang so far this year. Had a horrible weekend in Mexico City, admittedly 2 weeks ago, but in Diriyah, a venue where he's won twice before. He was on the podium yesterday, and is he in the hunt for the race win today?
He's got 1.9%, 1.7% more energy than the race leader.
Getting around Jake Dennis.
And the few laps we've had under safety car, we might have a few extra laps added on as well.
First of 2 attack modes that he has left. So trying to push Jake Dennis on to try and open that gap. Pascal had a fantastic restart there.
Bit of the chicane. Pulling a little bit of a gap over the moment, at the moment.
So a couple of drivers have gone for attack mode. That's Mortara and Gunther. The 2 Maserati drivers have gone for attack mode.
They sort of both need to build a gap to get further ahead of Rast before activating their attack mode, because if Dennis activates it now, he falls behind Sam Bird. Bird's got 4 minutes to use. Okay, we've still got 8
That
laps
is
to
Oliver
go,
Rowland
and
out
maybe
of the
a little
race.
So we've only got 10 or 12
being
minutes
wheeled back
left
into
of
the garage.
Of the race, to be honest, and Bird's got 4 minutes of attack mode to get through.
I would say that's a disadvantage for Sam Bird at the moment. I mean, he's got to make those 2.
Yeah, but Bird's actually in a tricky position. He's got to use 2 doses of attack mode.
Doesn't do that
I mean,
before the end of the race.
That was a puncture for Oliver Rowland as
he could use 3 minutes because he's got
coming into turn 16 now.
he's Rast about a second adrift.
The drive up. He's still got 2% more than Werhlein.
Let's see. They've got to use it now or in the next lap, I'd say. Front right part of Bird's wing is flapping around like a bird, and they both go for it. Can they come out ahead of Rast? Oh, it's so close, but Bird has come out behind the McLaren.
Try and get on with it straight away like he did before. No, not quite close enough. So
Dennis retains second place and is now going to be hunting down Pascal Werhlein with attack mode.
As soon as possible.
He'll be reluctant to make a move into turn 1 after hitting Alex Lynn. Crashed into each other last season.
Got 3% more energy than Rast in front, 3%.
3%. So
Bird being told 3% more energy than Rast. And he has gone for 3 minutes, so I'm guessing at the end of that 3-minute period he'll just sweep back in for a final dose of... Oh, whoa, Jake Hughes!
Is looking racy as well. Hughes is looking Larry.
All over the shop with the rear end there. And we've got McLaren leading Jaguar, McLaren leading Jaguar. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th.
On the right-hand side of the Jaguar TCS team, the gap at the front is 1.5 seconds. Dennis sets the fastest first sector of anyone, the fastest middle sector of anyone.
Dennis setting the timing pages absolutely alight. Here comes Sam Bird down the inside. He's gone too deep.
Deep, Bird.
He's missed it.
Almost in the wall.
He's avoided the wall, but he's blown a chance of winning this race.
That could be enough to give Rast a podium finish potentially. Werhlein leading on the last lap of the race. Dennis did the fastest lap, 4/10 quicker than Werhlein. The gap comes down to 1.4
Werlein's
seconds.
upped his pace. He's into the 1:09s now, but it's still 4/10 slower than Jake Dennis.
Stay calm, loads of energy, says Phil Ingram. But
Bird still has a minute left of attack mode. Here we go, having a look at it as he sizes up René Rast. Oh, he's just locked the brake.
Slow the car down on the dirty side of the circuit. Oh, he's got damage to the right front of his wing.
Yeah, he has got a bit of damage. It's not quite connected as it should be.
A light right front tire there, definitely hurting his deceleration into 18.
He He's got to do it this time.
But here he comes again.
He's already caught the pack of Rene Rast.
Oh no, sorry, that's Mitch Evans.
Evans and Hughes fighting here. Hughes covering the inside. Behind them is Eduardo Mortara running in 7th place. 8th is Buemi, 9th Van Dorn. Up into 10th is Sasha Fennestra's. An overtake there as Gunter gets past.
Van Dorn is up into 9th.
Getting ahead of Gunter.
Another fastest lap from Jake Dennis. But now Sam Bird has set the fastest lap and is right back on Rene Rast's tail.
We'll have some added laps. Here's Rene Rast radio.
Starting at 6 laps remaining. 6 laps.
So he's being told 6 laps remaining. So I think we're going to get 1 added lap.
In the meantime, Jake Dennis took his final attack and has set the fastest lap of the race.
So Dennis is a second behind, but is now out of attack mode.
Very, very close up at the front of the field.
Can't see how much energy they've got left until they bring it up on the screen.
There's Pascal Werhlein and there's Dennis closing in.
There we go. Oh, he's actually below Werhlein. It's fairly equal. It's almost a whole percent lower.
Than Werhlein. That's the issue for Dennis.
Out of attack now. Pascal pushing hard sector 1.
Well, so falling out of attack before he gets to the back straightaway with that 1 minute sequence.
Here comes Bird again.
Here comes Bird. Oh, he's so close. He's almost running into the back of him. He's going for attack mode though.
Give up that position. And there goes Bird.
Rast defending hard there into the chicane.
Bird has a bit more energy still than Rast.
Mortara has taken 3 minutes of attack mode.
Anymore. Van Dorn and Cassidy are the only 2 drivers still with an attack mode to use.
Good work, mate. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Do the attack mode and use that extra power to close and pass Rene Rast for 3rd position.
Jean-Eric Verne
wasted some energy on that attempt on
down in 18th place, having a really rubbish race.
Still has a decent advantage.
The Frenchman
just needs to make it happen cleanly in turn 18, most likely.
Gap between 1st and 2nd pretty stable at the moment at 1.1 seconds, but can Rene Rast hold on for a podium finish? He has.
So it says now on the screen that Dennis 11%, Werhlein 12%.
Despite going in deep, he's still got more than those around him.
Bird still has the most energy to use.
The brakes into the chicane, so we should be able to get Rast, but the chance of getting Dennis and Werhlein, I think, has gone for Sam Bird.
Yeah.
Added laps wise, we have 1 added lap.
Hello, Chris. What have you missed? Well,
really able to close in.
You've missed Werhlein and Dennis coming through from 5th and 6th. Nico Müller crashed. Sam Bird could have won this race, but a mistake has kind of thrown that away, and now he's stuck behind Rene Rast again. Dennis now 1.3 behind. He's just got that little bit less energy. So he's struggling. Jake Hughes really struggling. He's down in 9% energy. Still struggling to get on top of the energy management. Rene Rast as well, 9%. Maybe that's just a McLaren problem. Dennis 9% now. Van Dorn still 13%.
No threat behind. Eyes forward.
No threat behind, so you can take your time if you need to pass Rene Rast. So close to the back of him, isn't he? In this fight for
Werhlein is absolutely on fire this weekend.
Hughes as well.
I mean, Werhlein is a good driver. Very, very good driver. Surprised he hasn't got as many wins as he could do in this series. Then it is a competitive series. But that Porsche power unit is just so potent. But then you do have to use it. You do have to use it, and you're seeing it with Werhlein and Dennis that they're just exploiting it to the maximum. Da Costa and Lotta, their teammates, are 13th and 14th, and that tells you everything you need to know.
So they're a little concerned, the Andretti team, about how Sam Bird's getting on. Karun.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Andretti have got to start keeping an eye on what's happening behind. I know it's only got 2 laps to go, or 3 laps to go, but I think Werhein's done enough here to break away. Van Dorn's had some sort of an issue on the last lap because he was 8th, and then he's dropped.
Stoffel Van Dorn has dropped back down to 11th.
He started dropping down the order. So
something happening for the Belgian driver.
That puts Dan Ticktum up into the points in the Neo. And he thought that
His Sam Bird still stuck behind Rene Rast. That failed attempt into the chicane, crucial, because if he'd got it, he could have been on the back of Dennis by now, and he could have been potentially challenging for the victory. But you know, at best he's going to get a podium. But still, we might still end up with exactly the same podium as we had yesterday.
Fascinating situation at DS Penske. Here's Rene Rast radio, third place. Stephen Lane letting him know 2 laps to go. It says we're on lap 39 of 39, but then
we'll have one added lap.
Another lap for the added laps.
And look at Bird, he's absolutely on the gearbox of the McLaren. Bird's got a little bit of extra energy.
Rast definitely not making it easy on him with this tight nature of Sector 1. He has the option to save energy, coast as much as he'd like without the car.
Dennis has settled for second, it would seem. He's now 2 seconds behind. Here's Evans having a look at Hughes. These two started on the front row, and they've worked their way back to 5th and 6th. And they're being chased by yesterday's pole sitter, Sebastian Buemi.
He's defending 5th place at the moment for Jake Hughes. Finished 5th and 8th in his 2 Formula E races so far. So that is a get your elbows out, mate, on this final lap.
Not a great transmission to hear.
Here we go then.
And here's Pascal Wehrlein, breezing his way to a second victory of the weekend. Dennis in second. Will Sam Bird be able to snatch 3rd place?
Evans and Buemi could get him on this final lap, but Bird
Hughes struggling for energy. He's down on 1%. Rast is down on 1%.
Here comes Werhlein up into the chicane for the final.
There's Bird in the background having a...
Hughes very low on energy at the moment.
Rene Rast is on 0.1%. There's Bird going for it. No, Rast blocking the way.
A little bit of a nudge, I think, and Rast holds on. But can Bird get into the final?
Here's Werhlein. He's going to cross the line. Pascal Wehrlein wins again. In Diriyah, Jake Dennis is second, and Rast just hangs on for the final podium. And Jake Hughes, oh, he's being pushed over the line. He was out of energy.
Evans pushed Hughes over the line.
Evans has pushed Hughes over the line. Buemi going between them. That was incredible.
To the Diriyah E-Prix, Tictum gets a point in 10th place.
And Gunther has run out of energy. He's finished last.
For the Porsche team, remarkable performance.
But ahead of all that, Pascal Wehrlein has won again.
Oh man, you smashed it. Absolutely smashed it.
Kyle Wilson-Clark on the radio telling him he smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. Celebrations in the Porsche garage.
Wow, what a finish.
Solid enough job for
that was incredible.
Let's see if we can have a chat with Pascal Wehrlein after taking his 2nd win of the weekend. Pascal, it's Jack, you're live on TV. Superb win again. This is easy.
Thank you. Well, it was not as easy. Safety car, obviously, I had a bit of gap, but then knowing that especially Sam Bird had quite a bit more energy than us, so they make it easy. Maybe it looked easy, but it was not in the car.
And Pascal Wehrlein saying it looked easy, but it definitely wasn't easy in the car. And who got the fastest lap? Let's just check the times.
I see you there.
Sam Bird got the fastest lap, so that puts Pascal Wehrlein to the lead of the Formula E Championship in 2023. Fenestraz P12 to P8. Decent effort from Fenestraz, actually, because he doesn't have a Porsche power unit as far as I know.
Pushed him across the line to finish 5th.
They had no other choice.
No, absolutely unbelievable. What a race here in Diriyah. Hyderabad in 2 weeks. Can't wait for that.
That was a lot of fun. That was an excellent race.
Rast in 3rd.
So let's just go through the order. Wehrlein wins. Dennis is second.
On board with Buemi.
For the second race in a row. Here's a replay of what happened. Yeah. Oh. Hughes hangs on to 5th place by 0.078 of a second.
Full right lock, but he's stuck into the back of Hughes. And Evans is like, what?
You can't believe it. So yeah, so that's the top 2, Werhlein and Dennis. René Rast gives McLaren a podium appearance.
This man, I believe this race was won.
Sam Bird 4th. That mistake costing him a shot at victory when he was trying to pass René Rast. Jake Hughes 5th after his first pole position in Formula E. Buemi 6th. Evans 7th. Venestraz up to 8th. Mortara finishes 9th. Tickton takes the last point in 10th. I'll go to the other screen to go through. So we've got Van Dorn in 11th. He must have had an issue. Da Costa recovered to 12th. Lotterer to 13th. Cassidy, Nato, De Grassi, Verne, Sette Cameron, Van der Linde, and Gunther. They weren't really seen at all. Roland retired with a puncture, and Nico Muller crashed out. Incident involving cars 9 and 5. Evans and Hughes noted. So we'll see where that leads. We'll see where that leads. Can't wait to watch the replay. Yeah, worth watching it back, absolutely. Because it was a lot of fun. Will I be watching the F1 as well this season? Absolutely, but potentially not as watch-alongs. The reason why is because I write for a website, so obviously got to make sure I'm concentrating on everything that's going on there, and it's not always easy to concentrate when there's lots to go on, especially in a Formula E race. But maybe some qualifying sessions, if people would be up for that. But yeah, so try maybe some qualifying sessions, see how they go. Please don't be Werhlein Dennis for the entire season. I mean, if it's a proper ding-dong battle and they're swapping the wins back and forth, then why not? They're in different teams. It's not one team just running away with it. And because it is 2 different teams, if Lotterer and Da Costa get their act together, perhaps they can be in the mix. And no, if you've got 4 cars, 4 drivers going absolutely at it all the way through, then why not? That would be, I think, a lot of fun for people to watch. Okay, yeah, I mean, Dennis and Werhlein just winning all the races probably would get a touch boring. I can't see that happening. I think there will be some races where they just make a mistake. You know, there's something about the powertrain that then doesn't function correctly or something. You know, just a wet race, a bit of damage. I mean, the qualifying leaves them work to do. So if they get caught up in a start collision or lose places off the line, then that could become difficult. So there's you know, a notification center. Yes, legend. Thank you, Chris, getting the notification bell turned on. If you haven't done that, do so already. Thanks for the chat. Thank you, Aries. Thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed that race and if you enjoyed the live stream, the watch along, obviously, of course, leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell, and of course, if you can share the channel, that would be fantastic. So I do, as you can see, the one going across the screen now, assessing 2023's F1 rookies with Fraser Ford. That was this week's feature show on the channel. We've had 3 feature shows in as many weeks, so there might not be as many as frequently the next couple of weeks, just because I haven't organised them. That's life, unfortunately. You can't always get all your ducks in a row all the time, but there's going to be content coming over the pre-season to Formula One. Going to try and venture out into some more Formula E stuff. It won't be just limited to the watch-alongs. Even though they're really good fun and I love engaging with you guys. Thank you so much for coming along. I put the stream on to get it all set up, and it had people waiting, and that I mean was incredible. So thank you to the guys who were waiting for the stream to begin. That was, I mean, I can only say thank you. That was so amazing, absolutely speechless when I saw that. So really enjoyable. There was a brilliant race, as I said, and we've got Werhlein and Dennis at the front again, joined by René Rast
this weekend is incredible.
The Mexico race wasn't amazing,
again
but
we had
it was still pretty good. There was still lots of action. And I think this Gen 3 series is definitely going to work at street circuits like this. I think in a more open venue, then it's going to be a bit more difficult. So where have we got next? We've got Hyderabad, I believe.
I'm so proud of them, and yeah, thank you very much.
Switch to
one I will never forget.
This screen, because I can still see the chat over here.
How different does this win feel from yesterday's win?
Let's have a look.
Today, I would say yesterday was
Let's
a bit
have a
more
look.
exciting.
Races coming up, so they go to India next. So that will be well, nice early, 9:30 on the 11th of February, which is a Saturday morning. So actually, I won't be able to do a watch-along live for that race.
So is this going to be a repeat performance?
But what I could potentially do is a re-watch-along. So watch it after the fact, because I'll be working that Saturday morning. So I'll have to watch it after the fact in the afternoon. So we could sit down and do a watch along together if you wanted to do that. I mean, I'm up for that because why not? It'd be fun to share the drama with everybody else. So we've got Hyderabad coming up in a couple of weekends, then Cape Town at the end of February, which that's a nice 2 o'clock slot in the afternoon, which I think that's a Saturday as well.
Jake Dennis, huge congratulations, back on the podium.
They love a Saturday race, don't they?
I'm sure the feelings are slightly bittersweet though. So close to the win.
Then they go to Sao Paulo, but that'll be in the evening. That's in March, so there's a whole month in between. And then another month off until Berlin. So the races will be spread out. But where I can, I will be live with the race. And if I can't be live, then I'll try and do a re-watch along. So hopefully that sounds okay to everybody. Brilliant, enjoyable evening of Formula E action. Thank you to everyone in the chat for sharing the fun with me. I've had a great time. In fact, we've actually got a drive-through penalty converted to 24-second time penalty for Stoffel van Dorn. So that's going to drop him, well, last, I think.
Don't expect this to happen each race, so we need to collect the points.
It's going to drop him to last.
We can and try and build the biggest
he was
lead, because they'll definitely start
13 seconds behind the race winner. 24 seconds drops him behind Max Gunther. So Stoffel van Dorn's season as defending world champion just goes from bad to worse. Improper use of attack mode, whatever that means. Anyway, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Grand Prix content. Thank you for joining me on this watch along, and I will see you again very, very soon for more content, more Formula E, more Formula One, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye for now.
René Rast for Neon McLaren Formula E team. First podium for the team. This must be a very proud moment for you.
Yeah, I'm over the moon, to be honest. I think the team deserved it. They put so much hard work into this. And, you know, we were executing so well the whole weekend. And especially from where we come, or from where I came, from Mexico, especially also on Thursday, having no pace and now being on the podium, defending against Sam, who had 2% more energy. It's just, it feels like a victory, and I cannot thank the boys and girls enough at Neon McLaren. They did an awesome job, and it's really a lot of fun, you know, working with them, and yeah, very happy.
Did you just see the opportunity? You knew Sam Bird still had to take an attack mode, and you really did seize it.
Yeah, actually, before the safety car, I was not about to fight him because he had so much more energy. And then all of a sudden, the safety car changed everything. And I thought, maybe we have a chance for the podium. And I started fighting him. And it worked out in the end.
Excellent. Huge congratulations.
We were odds on. In another window at least.
You know, the start of the season saying the DS Penske boys.
So let's switch screen. Hughes is hanging in there.
Through the right and through the left, and then down towards turn 21. A little bit of competition further back, but everybody's safely through. Now, this is the timing line here, so this is where the first
all 22 cars still running.
Across the line now.
That's positive. is just hanging in there.